Hello everyone, for Epic News, this is Marcelo Palermo, and so we are just hours away from election time, because it is already election day. It is early morning, November the 3rd, 2020, an historic day. Well, as all presidential election days are historic days in the United States and everywhere in the world. But here, this election is very consequential. 2020, November 3rd, 2020, we are going to give some of, all of our final analysis, and we have to do that since we promised. So, this is Epic News again. Tomorrow at 92.7 FM and 13:40 AM, we are going to be live from 7 p.m. to all the way to over 10 p.m. because the polls will close at 7 p.m. and by then we're going to already have some results. So we're looking forward to see what happens, what unfolds during this very particular and, again, historic day. These elections are going to be very consequential, but we have to bear in mind what's happening and how things can turn. I know that many pundits in the media are saying that they're not going to predict a winner. Many have post-traumatic stress disorder from 2016, when the polls mostly gave Hillary Clinton an edge and eventually Donald Trump won the elections. Well, but let me make a difference of what happened then and what's happening right now, because in 2016, the polls actually had Hillary winning by 3 to 4 points at a national level. Now, the national polls are putting Biden at a lead of 10 to 11 and even 12 points. Out of the 10 most distinguished polling companies, the less distinguished one, perhaps among all of those, Guinea Pig, CNN, University of Marist University of College, MSNBC, SP, Reuters. There are a couple of polling companies that are all actually giving Biden a very important edge. The only one that doesn't give Biden an edge, I'll tell you right now, is actually the company that gave Trump an edge back in 2016, and they were right. Those are the Trafalgar Company, a polling company that polls a little bit different. They believe in the hidden votes, in those votes of people who probably tell other companies that they're not going to vote, or they're undecided, or they're going to vote to another candidate, and eventually they vote for the candidate that they didn't say they will vote for. So according to them, in this case, Trump will win a very narrow victory, a half a point or 1 point over Biden, victory over Biden. But all the other polls, that is 9 out of 10, give Biden a tremendous edge. So, considering all the experts making numbers, doing the maths, and breaking down everything that's going on, Biden should be the winner tomorrow. Again, if not by a landslide, at least by more than a narrow margin. And everybody's trying to be cautious because, again, I truly believe that most of the experts, most of the pundits, even the pollsters, have a post-traumatic stress disorder due to what happened in 2016. Could there be a surprise? Yes, of course it could be a surprise. But if you ask me, everything is set for a Biden victory. Listen, check this out. Before the end of early voting, I was right. I predicted that almost 100 million people will have voted by the end of early voting. And actually, the number was around 98 million, or a little bit more. And it could even be more by tomorrow. I mean, being that they're still counting, or they're still updating the early voting numbers. But I believe it will be around there. The thing is, it was almost 100 million votes. So, back in 2016, for the presidential elections where Donald Trump won his presidency over Hillary Clinton, 130 million people voted. That number was doubled in 2008 when Obama beat John McCain. And back then, 160 million people voted. It is said that now we're going to have the biggest numbers ever. They're expecting around 180 to 190 million people registered to vote, going to the polls, almost everybody. And that means that tomorrow, with approximately between, we'll say, 60 to 65% of the electoral universe in the United States of America having voted already during early elections, during the early voting, it is possible that tomorrow the rest of that electoral universe will go and vote. I mean, today, in hours, in a matter of hours, polls are about to open, and they're going to be open all the way to 7 p.m. Probably we're going to have long lines. It is always more convenient to vote early, not to vote during the very election day, but it's customary for lots of people to wait until the third, mostly the undecided ones who wants to reassure or assure that they're voting for the right candidate for them. So tomorrow is when we can have many surprises. The first counting, just a basic count of votes is giving Biden an edge. Polls are giving Biden an edge. Experts are giving Biden an edge. Even those who are actually within the realms of the Republican Party. And I'm not talking about those who are against Trump, which are also several Republicans. For example, the ones from the Lincoln Project, guys like Steve Smith, for example, just to name one, or Michael Steele. Steve Smith, if you don't know who he is, he was the guy responsible for bringing Sarah Palin to the John McCain campaign back in 2008. He was responsible for the John McCain campaign in 2008. He was a coordinator. Also, Michael Steele, who was the chairman of the Republican National Committee, or National Party. Those guys are the kind of Republicans, and many other Republicans. We can name former Ohio Governor John Kasich, Cindy McCain, widow of the late Senator John McCain. They're all voting for Biden. But there are also Republicans who are for Trump, and they are admitting that it is a complicated way their way to victory, but that has to start right now. And of course, we might have some early results later on, but it's an open game regarding when the votes are going to be all counted. It can happen in between tomorrow and Wednesday, all the way through the week, in 2 weeks, and God forbid that we have to go through a whole month. Hopefully we are going to have some anticipated results. Again, the projection is that Biden might win the election. He has everything in his favor. Again, out of 10, the 10 most important polls, out of 10 polls, the less prestigious one, the Trafalgar one, is giving Trump a very slight edge over Biden, while all the other pollsters are actually giving Biden a very wide victory. They're predicting a very impressive victory by Biden. What we might say is that it could be a landslide, but mostly it's just likely that it's going to be a little more contended. And of course, you can expect some fight back from President Trump, lawyers into the whole play, and things that are part of the political game. One thing that I have to say, whether you voted for one or the other, Biden or Trump, Trump or Biden, remember that at the end of the day, you're voting for what you think will be the best version of your country. And that's what matters the most. That's what we have to keep in mind. Not be stupid, arrogant, ignorant, pedantic, shallow, and try to work for a shirt, an image, a hat, a flag, other than the flag that represents a country. Not other symbol than the one that represents the law of the land, the Constitution. That is what we must do. Good luck and best of wishes for today. Remember, at 7 p.m., 92.7 FM, 1340 AM KBAB Radio CNN, we are going to be live, and you're going to be able to see it via Epic News here and also in social media at my my personal page, Marcelo Palermo Facebook, Facebook/Marcelo Palermo. I'll see you there. I expect all of you to be there with me because I'll be there with you. Thank you very much. Have a nice boating day, and I hope that everything gets to where we want it to be. Thank you. God bless.